This is the Mind War Podcast, Mindset in a World of Chaos. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Mind War Podcast, Mindset in a World of Chaos. Tactical, analytical, grounded in martial arts philosophy.
It's also energetic, sharp, focused on sports and psychological breakdowns.
Welcome to the Mind War Podcast, where we dissect mindset in a world of chaos. New name, new mission, same commitment to decoding the psychological battles shaping sports, society, and martial arts.
And this week, chaos is an understatement, as we all know. From global tensions to sports upsets, to the loss of a martial arts legend. Pressure is everywhere. Let's go ahead and break this down.
All right, I'm Badger. This is Grandmaster. We're your hosts for this Mind War podcast. We have rebranded, but we feel like this rebranding encompasses more news, not just specifically on martial arts, but kind of involving the current events of today. So to start off today's topic, we're going to talk about Trump's ultimatum to Iran. Iran. Trump issued a 48-hour ultimatum to Iran, threatening to obliterate their power plants if the Strait of Hormuz is not reopened. Iran responded by vowing to shut it down indefinitely.
See, the cool thing about this is just not politics. This is psychological warfare. It's showing dominance, threat projection, and strategic process and pressure, because the way that they're doing it, kind of forcing their hand onto Iran.
So what's the psychological play behind issuing a public ultimatum?
It's about controlling the narrative. I mean, Trump in the U.S. is trying to control the narrative that, look, you guys are bad guys. You're bad out there. And they've done, let's be honest, we don't lean one side or another on this podcast. However, let's be honest, Iran has been pretty bad to their own people for 40 plus years.
Right.
So, so he's trying to just, in my opinion, he's just trying to create an urgency, define a narrative that the rest of the world can back up.
Sure. How does Iran's response reflect their mindset, though?
Well, it's just that they're trying to show a posture of resistance, show strength through standing up to the what they would consider the big bully. I think what they're trying to do is when they're cornered, showing that when they're cornered, they're not going to lay down and take this easily. They're willing to fight. So
Grandmaster, what do you think the outcome is going to be? Do you think that Iran will reopen, or do you think that it's going to take us obliterating all of their power plants to get them to completely lay down?
Well, I have a problem with the whole thing because I don't want to obliterate their infrastructures or their power grids and all that, because there's innocent Iranians that live there and people from other countries. I don't know if that's a good idea. However, keeping the Straits of Hormuz closed and putting bombs out there and blowing up ships, well, I mean, people could say it's because of the retaliatory, but the Strait of Hormuz has nothing to do with that.
Right.
So I don't know if bombing their electrical grids or whatever is the right way, because again, there's a lot of collateral damage going with that, but this is war. So
it's something that has needed to happen for a long time. It's just a bummer that innocent civilians get wrapped up in the idiocy of the regime that is clinging on to hope of their last shred of power.
Yeah, and the people are afraid over there to rise up. And here we're a free country, too free in some places that people can burn flags and demonstrate, all that, and I'm all about demonstrating. Just don't burn my flag, man. But I'm all about demonstrating and all that, and peaceful marches. And if you want to get belligerent, be belligerent, but don't burn our flag.
Right.
Don't hurt people's property. Don't steal. Don't break windows. You can do whatever you want to do, but Over there in those countries, they kill you for that. So there's one of the major differences. Over in Iran, they just hung a 19-year-old kid. He was a wrestler or something because he spoke out against them. Publicly hung him.
Right.
I mean, and it's okay. People over here, there's certain people over here that's okay. So and it's not okay.
No, not at all. And it's sad. And another sad headline that came out this week is the passing of Robert Mueller.
Right.
Died at 81, former FBI director. His legacy kind of shaped modern investigative psychology.
Yeah, because he embodied restraint, discipline, and strategic resilience and silence. There was something about him that kind of made him stand above everybody else. We could use a Robert Mueller right now, in his prime.
Yeah.
He had a certain way about him seeing things, and then people listened to him. So that's a big loss. But again, you see stuff like that, and then there was this little kid locally who drowned in a pond, and that's not national news. And that kid's just as important as all these people that died. Because Chuck Norris died. As part of we'll talk about that too. But again, these are only people that are popular. But there's people that all around us. They just had a thing for a fallen person from a local institution here. He died in a motorcycle crash, and they had a big thing for him. So, but that's not all over the headlines and news because he's just a normal people. But that's what we're about, normal people.
Right.
And we'll piggyback that back to the normal people of Iran that you start taking out their infrastructures. Now they're suffering.
Sure.
But again, do something about your regime as well. So yeah, I think you're kind of putting people in a corner. So.
Sure. What can martial artists learn from Mueller's approach?
I think patience, resilience. He didn't swing blindly or wildly. He didn't act incoherently. He waited for the proper times, openings, if you will. He was just he's very tactical, very smart, very tactical, and way ahead of his time.
Yeah, without a doubt. So those are the two top news stories that we picked. Now we're going to kind of shift gears a little bit into sports.
This is kind of how our podcast is going to go. So it's going to, mix it up sometimes because it's not going to be strictly the martial arts or strictly current events or just strictly sports. So
we're going to kind of integrate all three each episode.
Sure.
And of course, we're in March talking sports. If you have any shred of sports in you, you know about March Madness. Yesterday, Iowa pulled off a shocker and stunned the number 1 overall seed Florida.
Ooh.
And Florida collapsed under pressure.
I think all 4 Florida schools lost. I think all 4 of the schools are out: USF, UCF, Miami, and Florida.
I know that Miami's out, and I know Florida's out.
I believe USF and UCF both are out too. Isn't that a stunner? I mean, I don't really care about March Madness. I don't mean to be that guy, but it's kind of comical when you see these high seeds. And we were just talking about that last night. You come in as a number 1, but are you really number 1?
Right.
When it comes to a tournament, everything's thrown out the window. So
records mean nothing, stats mean nothing once you enter the tournament.
Underdogs are always coming up there to pull Gonzaga. So
without a doubt. So Iowa pulled off the last second upset. The number 1 seed collapsed under pressure.
Well, they lost their composure, and yet Iowa maintained theirs. And that's kind of what happened.
So what's the mindset difference between underdogs and favorites?
Underdogs play to win, in my opinion. And then, I think people that are favored has chaos. People that are favored are have a lot of undue pressure.
Right.
If you're an underdog, you have nothing to live for. You have nothing to not live for, but you have nothing to prove. You just go to play. And if you win,
Yeah. Underdogs have literally nothing to lose.
Well, favorites play not to lose.
Correct.
See, that's the difference.
And that's the mindset change when you're playing not to lose. It's like playing prevent defense in the NFL. It prevents you from winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but how do you train for clutch key moments like
I
that?
think you kind of up the tempo. I think you kind of create chaos on the court. You create like loud sounds. You train under pressure. I mean, you're going into March Madness. This isn't your normal league play. This is a tournament one and done kind of thing, right?
Right.
So you got to train at the utmost urgency. As a squad, you go in with the utmost urgency. And realizing that one and done. I mean, there's no next game.
No.
Your next game is tournament play when this tournament's or season play when this tournament's over. Right? I believe. Is that
No.
right? No,
No.
there's just this is it.
The season.
So next season, that's right. Next season, see, I know nothing of March Madness. So next season is when they have to go a whole season now.
Yeah.
So I mean, Florida was number one ranked, winning unprepared, and I blame coaches on that. But again, you also got to blame players because coaches can prepare, players got to perform. So,
And not to take anything away from Iowa, who literally just gutted it out, had nothing to
1
lose.
point win.
They were not supposed to win, so they went out there free, relaxed, and shocked them.
I think Florida took it for granted, which kind of segues into our Venezuela beating the United States in the world of baseball, whatever.
World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, Venezuela beats U.S. We created that sport, the United States, right? So, and then you got the Venezuela. This is a well-known fact that your Latin American countries, your Caribbean countries, they're phenomenal baseball players, right? They make up probably I don't know the percentage, but they probably make up quite a bit of the MLB.
Oh,
right?
without a doubt.
I'm losing to Venezuela is probably not a shocker because they've got some great ball players there, obviously. But then again, there you go. The underdog came in and beat the mighty USA. And I think the USA looked past them, honestly, in my opinion. But hats off to Venezuela for that.
What role does national pride play in performance when you're playing for your national team as opposed to your Major League Baseball team or your college basketball team?
You're playing for your country, your pride of your flag, your people. When you play for your club, your city team or whatever, you're playing for that brand, that team. When you're wearing the national emblem on you, you're playing for all the people of your country, whatever race they came from, whatever gender identity, whatever it is, you're playing for them. You're playing for that flag, that country. That's the ultimate. To me, that would be the ultimate experience in any sport. And we've had recently people, not thinking that was a big deal, kneeling and stuff like that. But again, to each their own. But I think that makes a big difference. You play for, like, say, like the Dodgers, let's say, right? And the next thing you know, you're playing for the Dodger emblem, the whatever, and the next thing you know, you got the USA emblem.
Right.
I think the USA emblem carries a little bit more weight.
Well, we would hope so.
Well, yeah, I would think it does.
Absolutely.
For me, but.
All right. So that's our little sports segment of today. Now we're going to transition into a little martial arts breakdown. Unfortunately, we're going to start martial arts breakdown with some sad news. A legend, the man, the myth, the legend, Chuck Norris, passing away at 86. That's a man who defined martial arts in pop culture and beyond.
Yeah, he was a symbol of discipline. I mean, he joined the military in 50 something, went to Korea, and I'm sure there wasn't a lot of GIs at that time, and maybe they were practicing. It took a lot of mental toughness. His legacy will endure. I mean, Bruce Lee, Sammo Hung, he knew all these guys, and to me, he was a pioneer in the movie business as well as Bruce Lee. But he was just a pioneer in martial arts, making martial arts popular in our country. And I think as far as I never had a chance to meet the guy, unfortunately, but I trained under the same instructors that he trained under at times, and I've trained with people that knew him, and he always seemed to, according to them, he was humble. I mean, I don't know, but I think to do what he did for as long as he did, died, at a ripe old age of 86. He'll be missed, but unfortunately, the good ones go, and he will definitely be missed. But for me, he was a major bridge between like the dojo, Hollywood and the karate studios. He made a bridge because in a lot of his movies, he'd be at a karate studio. He would be, so kind of made it, more like personable, when he did his movies.
And his acting never lost the philosophy behind martial arts.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what kind of made him stand out.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear all the jokes, martial art or Chuck Norris.
They're mean. I think they're great. They're not. I don't even look at them as jokes. I think those are honors. Those are those are badge of honors. I mean,
Chuck Norris didn't die. He met the Grim Reaper and
killed him and
took
took
over
his
his
job.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those will forever be sayings
That wasn't a
about Chuck
hurricane.
Norris.
Chuck Norris sneezed. Stuff like that. So I think those are things that live on forever. They will continue to live on. Chuck Norris was an icon.
What mindset lessons can we draw from his life?
I think resilience and reinvention. He had reinvented himself. His vision on what martial arts and what makes you a better person. I think he taught us that mastery of any martial arts is a lifelong pursuit. I mean, he's never stopped training up until 86. So I think, people are either too old, they say, I can't do it. Yes, you can. You can just, make it to where it fits you. He had multiple surgeries, I believe, with his hips and knees.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to, alter his training methods or whatever, but still trained, 86 years old. So I think those are kind of legacies he leaves behind.
Right.
So
the last topic of the day I picked because it can be a little controversial. Across the country, schools are integrating tactical self-defense programs, blending martial arts with psychological preparedness.
why are they doing this? It's not about fighting. For me, it's about awareness, confidence, and mental resilience. I mean, you can build all these things into your school. What's happening is a lot of martial arts schools are taking the time now to make an extra money. You come join this tactical training, it's going to cost you $60 more a month. And what are you learning? I mean, tactical awareness, who goes shopping at 10 o'clock at night? Do you park your vehicle by a well-lit place? Do you carry
you on your cell phone?
Yes. Yeah, damn it. Go to the store and be on your cell phone. Don't do that. Do you carry your keys as you're walking to your car? Do you pop your fob before you get to your car? I mean, there's all these things that I think really play into it, but rolling on the mats, going into a studio to learn situational awareness, or what did you use the thing? Tactical self-defense programs. Most of your martial arts is combat oriented. There's your self-defense. So, but saying you're going to gear it towards the now, today, whatever, I don't see how that. I mean, good kudos to them, good for them. But I think if you just train traditionally or train in any style that you have out there, it doesn't have to have the moniker tactical self-defense. It doesn't have to have that. It's just your mental being. How do you process? Are you right? That's how I think it should be.
So specifically talking about youth in the chaotic world that we live in, why is mindset so critical for the youth?
Because mindset, well, I think because fear is paramount for youths. They become scared first, right? So that if you can teach them to stay calm under the pressure, right? I think that will give them a chance, because if you can keep calm under pressure, that's everything. The pressure of taking class is the pressure of meeting new friends, taking tests, the pressure of going out into society and something happens. We're not, unfortunately, in our country, we've got all kinds of things that could happen in light of what's going on overseas right now. And most of our people are not aware, are not prepared. And we're talking about youth, we're talking about anybody. A lot of people are not ready for this.
Well, the scary thing is, if you just look at the news clips of what's going on over in Iran and in Israel and where the bombs are dropping, If just one of those
Don't say it.
hit the United States, anywhere in the United States, there's nobody that I can think of, or there's very few people that could handle the devastation if it happened on home soil.
Well, you look what the people of Israel, the Gaza Strip, Palestinians, what they've had to endure being enemies, everyday life, bombs, shootings. We don't have that. Chicago, maybe New York, but it's usually gang affiliated, some kind of stuff like that. But we don't have just some random store blowing up or a bomb flying out of the air and landing. We're not prepared for that.
Or how about just a bomb alert?
We're not
The
prepared.
warning sign.
When I was a kid, we grew up, when I was in school, we practiced for bombs and attacks, right? Because it was during, right at the end of, right during Vietnam and, whatever. So we're always prepared for the Cold War, But I don't think people are prepared now. They're too busy on their damn phones, or whatever, walking the street on a cell phone, going to the store on a cell phone. I mean, we're not prepared and we're not aware of here. And besides that, will we be told what it really is?
Right.
It'll be so who do you believe? That's the problem.
Yeah. And we're not even going to get into the topic of what news channel you watch and what information you're going to get.
You need to figure out
research.
Yes. And don't go to Google. You need to figure out what's true and what's not true. You can do that. You don't need no television or no network or pundit to tell you what's real. You can pretty much feel what's real.
Without a doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, we have filled up our time slot for today. Please tune back in, the Mind War Podcast. Current events, sports, martial art. We're going to bring you the headlines. We're going to discuss. If you've got a topic that you want us to discuss, shoot us a message on any of our social media platforms. Wherever you saw this podcast, shoot us a message. We'll be happy to dive into any topics that you guys can bring our way. I'm Badger.
I'm Grandmaster. Remember to be kind. Always be kind.
Have a great day.
Be safe.
This is the Mind War Podcast. Mindset in a world of chaos.